Hi guys. I'm on live today because I'm giving an update to the whole situation with me catching COVID-19, how I caught it, what the symptoms were, why I caught it, and also asking for help. Here's the story. I caught COVID-19 sort of early on, right after Governor Polis said that people that were high risk should lock down. I had called downstairs to my apartment, and said the people at the front desk and was like, "Hey, I might need help because I'm high risk and I'm being told to stay in." Right? I was actually told by one of the staff that, well, I have such and such condition, like, you know what I mean? Like it was blown off. Like, if I'm not worried, why are you? So I try to, overcome that and like get super positive and just go get over it, right? But I ended up catching COVID-19 because I had to get out. I had to go out in public since my stove doesn't work. The apartment complex that I'm in, Path, Providence at the Heights, that was started by Hassan Latif with Second Chance Center. Second Chance Center does not own Providence at the Heights. Hassan Latif does. It is a for-profit company. Second Chance Center is not for profit, and Blue Line Property Management is the one that manages it. So anyway, um, after a whole bunch of promises being made on Facebook about this um, apartment complex. Here's my thing. I wouldn't be so upset if I hadn't caught COVID-19, if I could cook a meal, and if I could clean the breastfeeding stuff that I have. I'm a single mom, and catching COVID-19 was terrifying for me. Um, my fear was that it would go bad. And when you're a single mom and you don't have anyone that your son can go to, you realize that the buck stops with you. And I've had to try to prepare for other things as I've been pregnant. I had cholestasis, which put me at risk of passing, and my son of being stillborn. I've had other risk things happen, but when you're faced with the possibility of your mortality, it's really sobering. And so as I was laying sick in my apartment, my symptoms were it was a low grade fever, and I had a headache that wouldn't quit though. And between the headache that wouldn't quit and body aches, I woke up. I was having body aches earlier in the day, and I thought that maybe I sprained something, like maybe my back is starting to hurt again. I do a really good job of trying to minimize stuff. You wouldn't think that with the apartment complex. They think I'm a bougie, whiner, right? That complains about everything. Anyway, so I sat here and I woke up hurting so bad and having muscle spasms that were so intense that it was hard to breathe around them. And I was exhausted, like nobody's business. Like I could have slept for days, like a drug addict when they get off of drugs, like dog tired. As I said, plus the headache, low grade fever. I did not have a cough. I did not have any like throat stuff or anything like that. But as I said, I did have the headache. And so for me, the headache was where the concern came in, because they were talking about that being one of the signs. So ironically, I went online to try to sit here and do their little test online. And it came back saying that I don't have it. But then so the next day, I'm like, but this is not going away. Something's wrong, right? And so I called a nurse line and they're like, no, you have it. Stay indoors. And at the time, they weren't even doing testing unless you were first responders or in the hospital. So basically, I was told to stay indoors, stay away from everybody, try to, keep myself comfortable as best I could. And if it got worse, to, contact them again. And seeing as they've been treating it like they did AIDS back in the days, right? Like everybody's all freaking out. And it's ironic because today I heard on the news that Korea is there's positive signs that people that have already caught it are immune. People that have already caught it there may be testing for COVID, but the cells are dead, and that the that they're not catching it again. So when all of these things are leading to the fact that there's probably an immunity in your system for COVID-19 once you catch it. So I don't know, like, do I thank the apartment company for not having a stove that works and me having to go out and risk my life to cook um, for catching COVID-19, or do I ream them for catching COVID-19 and putting my life at risk? Um, I have written I've written a very humbling, begging letter to Hassan Latif, the owner. I have written countless emails to the manager, Darlene Pasternak, who's some kind of director at Blue Line Property Management Company, to Nick at Blue Line Property Management Company. I've talked to the support staff that were second chance staff here. And their support you when it's convenient is how I sort of feel. Is if it's something that they don't feel is politicky, they want to put their nose in it. Like I finally put in a grievance because the lady upstairs is intentionally, like, straight up ghetto, yelling, screaming. And I hate saying the word ghetto, but let's be real. Like, you know, sisters, brothers, my Black people, please do not perpetuate the stereotypes that go on about us. Like, why would you do that? Why would you give people reasons to not like our race? Like, why would you perpetuate those stereotypes? You're what makes those jokes, when you sit here and act all like that. And so I had been trying to put my son to sleep after she had woke him up at 12 midnight, and I called downstairs, and she stomped, like literally stomped from one end of her apartment to the other at like 1 o'clock in the morning. And so yeah, I finally put in a grievance, and then they wanted to talk about that, right? um I just find it funny. They've brought up the solution of me moving out, rather than getting a new stove, rather than getting me a stove that comes to 212 degrees. It's science. It's not a preference. It's not me being picky or bougie or anything else. It's science. 212 degrees is what you need to bring something to a boil. To bring something to a simmer, I think it's 160 or 180. Okay. So, and a simmer and a boil are two different things. They do two different things. You cannot sanitize and kill germs properly under 212 degrees. So, it's concerning to me that I've been told that it's a preference and whatnot. Um, I've been told I'm not appreciative. If you're so unhappy, then why don't you move out? See, here's the thing. I'm unhappy with the apathy. I'm unhappy with being told that I'm not appreciative when I am. I just don't appreciate not being able to do what I need to as a mother for my baby. Um, Knowing that, you know what I mean? When you're dealing with breastfeeding, like, if I don't properly clean it, then that means that when I bag it for daycare, that I'm also bagging germs and bacterias and whatnot, which can get my son sick. Um, and I've seen a lot of people pulling together on the online, and I'm just dumbfounded that this one place that's built by a man that says that he stands up for people is the place that standing up for people isn't happening. Never once have they had a meeting where the people here can actually talk to the management, like, of people above those that work here, and get some things addressed. Um, I barely found out that the owner of the building was Hassan Latif. They kept that under wraps for a while. They give you what information they feel they want to. It's very politicky, and I shouldn't have to deal with politics when it comes to my baby. I'm wondering where their conscience is. Like, how do you find it okay to put me at risk to help me lose my life. So at this point, I'm going to ask if you know anybody that runs a appliance place that has a stove that's newer, that has a warranty, because they're saying they won't even let me buy one. I offered to buy one. They said that they didn't want to unless it had a warranty, because it could go up in smoke and if it wasn't properly installed and all this good stuff. So I'm asking for help at this point. If there's anybody out there that knows somebody that they themselves have a stove that has a warranty, they know somebody that owns an appliance company, or that kind of stuff, please contact me. I have done everything I can in my power as of right now, except for go to the state over this. And that is my next step. I have no choice. I was told by one of the guys at the church next to us, who, apparently partnered with them, sold them half of their land, that if I went to the state, it would make things worse, which sounds like more of a threat. Like, if you do what's in your legal rights to do, that it'll come back on you. So I'm documenting because I'm afraid of retribution. I'm afraid that me trying to stand up for safe and secure means for me to breastfeed will help me get kicked out. I'm afraid for being angry that I caught COVID-19 because I've had to expose myself due to this will have me get kicked out of my apartment, even though I'm in a lease, even though my rent's paid up. Also, if you know the law in Colorado and you can be able to give me some understanding of what maybe my rights are, I would really love to hear from you. I've already went on Facebook. I'm going to go on Twitter. I'm also going to go on Instagram. I'm going to do everything in my power to bring light to this. Please share this. Please know that, COVID-19 doesn't have to kill you. Yes, the survival rates are higher than the death rates, but the symptoms are not always the same. Some of people get it super heavy and they're coughing and they can't breathe and it's just like all there. And some people don't. I have asthma, and I think I wouldn't say it was like, nothing, but I also wouldn't say that it was like a lot of people's stories that I hear. So I was super blessed. Again, if you know somebody that knows Colorado law that might be able to help me understand my rights as a tenant in this situation, somebody that can help me get an appliance to be able to put in here. If you know anything that can help me in this situation, again, I'm in Colorado. If you know anything that can help me, I would really appreciate your input. And you know what? If those of you that pray, I would definitely welcome your prayers for this situation, for my stress level, for the needs to be met, for people to stop being apathetic and angry, for being called to do their job, for my son so that he doesn't get sick. I just ask that everybody, if you have help, if you can pray, please do. If you have any other questions or anything, please let me know and I will get back to you. I promise. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching.